Hey everyone, this is Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com. Welcome to another live stream here on YouTube. Let's see here. Let me just welcome everybody. Let's see. Just waiting for this to start. There's a little delay, and yeah, there we are. Let me make sure that sounds good. Awesome. Let me know how the sound is. Hi, Yusra. Let me know how the sound is. Is it like a deep, nice sound, or is it tinny? Um, yeah, yeah. Let me know how it sounds on your end. All right. So in today's live stream, I don't want to waste too much of your time. Hi, Carmela. It's all about figure drawing, and we're just going to do a couple of short poses, an intermediate pose, and it's great. Okay, thank you very much, Yusra. Now, in our Zoom class, our afternoon class, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be. Oh, I got my wrong glasses on. One moment. In our Zoom class later for members of drawingtutorialsonline.com, we're going to do two scenes with values. And I did this in my perspective and visual design class at the School of Visual Arts, where we got a beautiful piece of artwork and we matched the values. Hi, Leah. We actually did it with the value scale on screen, and we actually picked values and painted values. And I want to do one traditionally with pencil, and I want to do one digitally in our class, and you'll be able to follow around with both. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing later. And I appreciate you all joining me here today. But for this class, let's get started. So I need to put a piece of paper down and make sure my camera's going to be working here. Okay, I'll put that down here, and let me see. Let me do a switch. So I've kind of covered up the figures a little bit for YouTube. For those of members of Drawing, hey Jesse, for members of drawingtutorialsonline.com, if you want these photos, I'll email them to you. I'll email you a link to the photos. I can't do it right now. I should have had the link prepared, but afterwards, if you're interested in doing a longer drawing of any one of these photos, I have them for you. The non kind of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Altered photo where it's just not covered and it's easier to draw that way. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Too much talking. Let's go to scene one. Now, I don't know if I want to draw scene one first. I really don't know if I want to do that. These are the photos that we're going to be drawing. I know it totally sucks when I got to cover it up for YouTube, but it is what it is. I don't want to get into trouble or anything like that. But yeah, and then number 4, and then this is the back version of number 4, which is number 5. So I wouldn't mind doing that one for the longer one today. We're not going to go too long today, yeah, okay. So let's go. I need to warm up. I definitely need to warm up. Let me make sure that I'm in a good place with this paper. Yeah, I'm in a good place with the paper. I'm going to do a quick little warm up. Get my hands going. I haven't drawn anything since Friday. This was from the Gibson girls last week, and I'm never going to save this drawing, so I'm just going to kind of use this as a scrap piece for me to warm up on. Yeah, totally. So let me just tape this one down as well, and we'll get to drawing. All right, I appreciate your patience here. One last thing, swig of coffee. No, we're not doing the Gibson girls again. We're not doing the Gibson girls again. 1 second. Hope you didn't get any sound effects with that. I want to warm up with a different pencil. I'm going to be using my Colorase today, but let's see, where is that one that I wanted to use? This is not an efficient use of your time, Matt. I guess that pencil disappeared on me. So I'm going to just use this ebony pencil, which is a great pencil. If you take care of them, meaning if you drop them, they shatter inside, and then every time you sharpen, ooh, that's nice. Every time you sharpen, this is definitely Smudgeville. You just touch this, it's going to smudge. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm just getting my fingers going. It's I wouldn't call it very cold, but it's cold enough. And look at that. Well, you can get so dark so quick with this pencil. So it's Sanford Design Ebony. jet black, extra smooth. It's kind of like a 5B, 6B style pencil. Very, very. Now, I'm curious to see how I do with a torso with this. It's actually not bad. It's not bad. Hi, Laura and Sadun. Welcome. Okay, so I'm going to go around. This is just part of my warm up. It's my torso that I like to draw. I like to turn it into a statue with the chopped off Greek and Roman wing style torso, and then a little bit of a head over there. Okay, sweet. Now what I can do is I could do some longer lines. I'm going to use this pencil for the first one. Screw it. Now, actually, let me... There's the pencil. It was hiding in plain sight. So now my black wing. I want to try this and see what it's like right next to that one. So what I'm seeing is this is much blacker and a little bit coarser. This is a touch lighter, not as black, a little bit more of a black gray, and not as coarse, meaning like when I drew with that ebony, I'm really seeing all those little white specks. With this, I'm not. This is a beautiful pencil to draw with. Okay, now I want to go to my Colorase because I just want to warm up with that as well. Oh my God, it's not as easy to draw with, but it's so much easier for a longer one. I'm not going to do the short ones with this. I'll probably like destroy my hand if I do. And I think that's enough like warming up. Okay. So somebody joining me on YouTube, they're going to see this and they're like, okay, I'm out of here. Now, what other potential pencil am I interested in using today? I'm interested in maybe using a Prismacolor Verithin. I never really use this pencil. I have so many of them. And I should use them because I have them. And they're kind of cool. You can't erase them though. That's like out of the question. All these pencils, like you can't really erase them too well. Let's try the eraser factor now. Well, I was wrong. Blackwing 602 erased out pretty nice. What about the ebony? Ebony leaves a little bit more of a stain on the paper. What about the Colorase? It's erasable. Okay, so just the ebony, I didn't even press down hard here. It just leaves a stain on the paper. And this is kind of nice. It is blacker than the Colorase, and a lot of people will combine the Verithin with the Colorase to really get that nice black vibe. Really powerful. Out of all of them, that's the prettiest for me. Like it's really nice. Okay, I don't know if I want to do a drawing with it, but it's really nice the way that it looks. Let's get started. So we're gonna. This is no joke. This pose. It's no joke. Do we start on it now? Why am I saying it's no joke? Well, it's a frontal view. It's kind of a little flat, not a severe, dramatic light and shade, which kind of makes it difficult. But I'll show you how I would tackle this difficult pose to start off with. So we're going to remove this. Now, this is called like destroying the paper. And you really need to do this before you start to draw. Like you really should get into a habit of these circles, these S-curves. Now, I was interviewed yesterday, like every year, like a student has a class. I don't know. They have a class. Maybe it's like a business class at the School of Visual Arts, and all the students, like the homework assignment. Let me make sure I'm using the front. The homework assignment is to interview a teacher and ask them questions about how they got started, when they started, if they would have done anything differently, how to, all these questions for business class. So one of the questions was, what would you have done differently or something like that? And it wasn't so much for the beginning of my career, but just my career in general, even like up to 10 years ago. I guess the thing that I would change is I wouldn't be so doggone stubborn. with using the same pencil, and I would have experimented a little bit more with pencils. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to try to do each drawing today with a different pencil. And then we'll assess after, oh, swig of coffee, and we're going to draw this pose. All right. Well, there's my kneaded eraser. I put the coffee cup on it, almost fell and went all over the place. Okay, so this is the top of the piece of paper. Not the top, but my video screen. And this is the bottom. So that's too small. Let me show you. Okay. For me, a 7-inch drawing is way too small. It's just ridiculous because I need longer to draw gesturally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out. Okay. Better. Okay, let me zoom in. Well, just a touch. Better. Okay, now I'll remark the paper. That's my top. That's my bottom. That's a little bit longer. And I'm just going to move little old me over here out of the way. I'm going to do this drawing on the left side. And, okay. So, almost there. I'm looking for my grayscale. A teacher by the name of Garen Baker gave me this probably in the mid-90s. Yeah, it's an awesome value finder. And look, when I move it, my paper gets a little darker. When I put it on there, paper gets a little lighter. When you photograph your artwork, definitely photograph your artwork with some values on the artwork. So, yes, just do that. Okay, let's do it. Here we go. Let's get to drawing. A lot of talking here to get started. I'm just going to tap on my photo of this gal. And so so step number 1 with figure drawing is I start with the top of the shoulders. You don't need to do that. And I start with the top of the shoulders, and I ask myself the question, okay, if this is the shoulders, do I have enough room for the head? Do I have enough room for the feet? I have enough room for the head and the feet, but I want to draw bigger, but it is what it is. I'll deal. So, okay, shoulders are always going to be round. Her shoulders are very level. And then I'm going to come over here to the rib cage. Now, since this is almost a dead-on front view that's very flat, what I'm going to do is draw that torso peanut shape. So now I'm going through the model's upper legs to kind of find where I feel the bottom of the butt is, and then I'll come back over to this side where the rib cage is under the breast, and I'll come down and I'll cruise across. Now, this by its nature is extremely flat. I'm okay with that. We're just getting started. This is still kind of my warm-up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just focus in on the torso. Maybe I'll do breast, and the breast is higher than what I just did, so I'll lift it. Breast over here a little bit higher. Breasts are kind of level. I'm representing the breast with a circle, just like that. And now maybe I can give myself a landmark, bottom of the rib cage. I can draw the center line, and I can draw the center line. So it's not perfect, but that's where we're starting here today. And so now what I'm going to do is, yes, I'm sorry. I'm going a little slow this morning. I'm not trying to go slow deliberately. Just it feels like the man is fighting me here today. So I don't want to... I want room for the legs without totally zooming out anymore. Okay, this has got to go. Oh my God, why is this like so cumbersome today? What is going on here? Okay, so now, people, right here at the model's hip, this is the leg, her left leg, that is bearing all of the weight, because the other foot, she's on her toes. So this cruises down. And when I do that line, I'm looking at the privates to the foot, the privates to the foot. And I think that's long enough. Okay. So I'm going to do that. And then what I like to do are elliptical lines like that that show the cylinder of the foot. Okay. I know this is small on the video screen. I apologize. I just really want you to see my process head to toe. Now, before I do anything else, I probably get the top of the model's head, just like that. So, what are the key takeaways? And welcome, Terry. Terry. So Terry, this afternoon in my Zoom class, we will be working digitally and traditionally. In this class here on YouTube, we are only working with a pencil, and we're going to try to do each pose with like a different pencil. Okay, so okay, so I have a suggestion of where I feel the head is going to be. I have a suggestion of where I feel the bottom of the foot is going to be, and I have the core of the body, which is the torso. So this has really served me well over the years of drawing this way, where I'm not doing this thing where, okay, let me show you with a scrap piece of paper. I'm not doing this thing where I'm like, oh, here's the model's head, and here's the model's like shoulders. I used to draw this way when I was in college, and then there's the arm, and here's the other arm, here's the breast, and here's the other side of the body, here's the other, and I'm picking my pencil off the paper constantly. I'm not drawing in the middle, I'm outlining both sides of the body. This is what we would call, in layman's terms, no bueno. Okay, so, and I'm outlining that leg. So this is a classic example of what not to do. What not to do is outline in both sides. This is just my opinion. If you don't like it, you can throw it out. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. You can just discard what I'm telling you and ignore me, and that's fine. So, but I just realized that this creates a stiff drawing. It creates a drawing where you can see immediately the legs are too small and the head is too big. It's stiff, it's flat. I could go on, okay? This is nothing really to write home to mom about. However, what it is it's given me a fighting chance to draw this figure, this gal, proportionately to her body, and it's given me a fighting chance to fit the pose on the page, which in this case is the video monitor. And it's also, so now let me finish my coffee here. Let me look at the chat. So Terry, yes, and Maddie. Hello, I've been watching your streams for a while. I've noticed you do primarily humans. Is there a chance you can do a similar demo on animals? Maddie, I taught a how to draw animals class because a teacher went on a sabbatical, and I was lucky enough to be asked to teach that class. One of my favorite classes I've ever taught. It was the most fun class. I learned so much about animals when I drew that. And that's a really good idea, Maddie. I'm not committing to doing it, but you know, Maddie, listen, in that class, I would, we had a big, huge screen. I would screencast my iPad on that screen in the classroom, and I would draw from my iPad, and the students would draw with me, and we would draw from photos of different animals. We had live animals come in, we had dead animals come in. We had everything under the sun, a taxidermist, all that jazz. Okay, so let's get back to this drawing. So what would be the next thing for me? Well, the next thing for me is going to be, I want to just clarify the edge and not be so primitively round with it. And I also want to get an anatomical landmark on the inside, which would be the pelvis. And I'm going to come on down over here to the privates, the center, and I'll go up with that little V shape there. So now I might just do this hip is below that fold. Okay, it's a little bit below, and I'll come down with an opposite C, letter C, toes. Okay, a little bit more gestural, Not accurate, but gestural. Okay, now what I'm going to do, believe it or not, is yes, I am going to do a little bit of shading there, and I'm going to do a little bit of edge focus. And then with this background leg, normally I would not press down so hard on the pencil, but I'm going to cruise right on down to that heel and go down to the toes. So sometimes what I really like to do with a background leg like this is I'll just put some tone there, and what I'm noticing immediately is the legs are too long. Okay, now I could fix them or I could accept it. So I'm going to fix them, and I'm going to lift this. Ooh, oh, I'm not even looking at that foot. I'm kind of drawing out of my imagination. And we should do one out of our imagination also. So in a live drawing class, I never, ever use my eraser. Never. In this YouTube video, because of my ego, yeah, I'm using my eraser. Okay, so I'm going to come on down around the top of the foot, width of the toes. Why am I spending so much time on the foot? Because the foot is what holds up the model, and it's vital that you draw the foot somewhat correctly. The other foot is higher, so it's here. So we can erase that out, or we can just leave that. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm just doing it for me. Yeah, so okay, now I just leave that. I'm like, okay, let's not get caught up there. Let's not get caught up there. So I'll come back and I'll just kind of suggest this arm simply at first. Okay, I'll suggest this arm simply first. And then I'll look at the negative space between the shoulder and the chin. And I'm getting the overall tilt of that model's face. And now other shoulder, and we don't want to make this model's neck too thick, so I'm just going to draw a shape of hair and the angle of the head, and then I can do shape of hair on the interior, around the ear, and maybe a little bit of tone over there. That's always helpful for like a quick pose. And so this drawing right now is kicking my butt. Okay, let's keep going. So if it's kicking my butt, that's fine. It just means I'm a little out of practice. So now I'm just going to come on in, and I'm going to do this arm. It's practice, right? It's practice. I'm going to do that arm. I'm going to have that roll in. That's coming into the thumb. I can do the chest muscle, and I can come in with some form lines. And what else could I do here? Well, I could also just shade this because I can really see that tone on that side of the body. If I wanted to, I can make this arm silhouetted. I find like if you're struggling with drawing a pose, sometimes it's really helpful to just bring in a little bit of tone. Now, torso is just way too long, so everything's too long on this pose, and it's fine. First one of the day, so we're going to screw up a little bit. And yeah, sometimes for me, you don't need to concern yourself always with proportions. I do. That's just my MO. But you don't. And for me, it's a challenge. And if I don't have my proportions correct, well, then I'm off. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely off with this. So that pose is kind of done. Could I make the head a little bit bigger? Perhaps. Do I care at this point? No, it's our warm-up drawing. Am I going to worry about the fingers on a quick sketch? No. Okay. So things that we can talk about. So underneath the pit of the neck, which is kind of the center of the collarbones, what's right below that? Check your drawing now. So hold your pencil straight. Collarbone. So I got that right. Okay. So you got to use this mental management. It's a tool that Olympic athletes use, and I learned this from this Olympic athlete who was a target. Ooh, that was loud. Gee whiz. Let me lower that. Okay. They were an Olympic athlete, like a long distance shooter in the Olympics, and they did this wonderful mental management thing to help them. And what that basically means is it's what like he interviewed all of these Olympic athletes and asked them, what were you thinking about when you were competing? And these Olympic athletes were thinking about many, many different things. And he was thinking about different things. And he was thinking about the wrong things. And so then really the mental management part is that, but it's also after the competition of the long distance shooting, they would kind of assess like what went well and what needs work. So for me, what went well with this pose is that at least I've got the foot bearing all of the weight under the center of the pit of the neck, which is huge. So that's what went well. What also went well is I think I kind of like the way that I did this shading over here. What needs work is my line is horrendous. So yeah, it's horrendous. And so this is our warm up. Now let's go to the next one. Okay. Any questions? Eco, welcome. Or yeah, Eco, I think it is. Any questions, people? Any questions? Let me know. I'm going to go to the next pose. So our pose number, I don't know if I want to do this one next because it's too similar. Yeah, too similar. Let's go to this one. Okay, it's a little different. And let me pull that up on my iPad. Cool. All right, let me see where I'm at with the coffee. Okie dokie. Boy, I'm not in love with that drawing at all. And the reason why I'm not in love with it is because I pretty much outline the hips equally. And it's making the drawing feel like a cardboard cutout. Like when you go to that old store called GameStop, where you used to buy like video games. I'm not a video game person, but my son certainly was. And I'd always be in there getting him video games when he was younger. And yes, so they had these cardboard cutouts of like characters, and that's what the hips feel like on this pose. Okay, let's move on and let's do the next one right here. Okay, so let me draw it and then I promise I'll zoom in. Okay, maybe I'll zoom in right away. And I said I was going to do each drawing with a different pencil, didn't I say that? So I guess we're going to use the ebony. Let's do it. Sanford ebony. So that's top of my paper screen. This is the bottom. So listen, if you're just joining us, grab a piece of paper and a pencil and draw with us. I'm just talking, trying to teach, and having a good time here. Not worried about being perfect. When you worry about being perfect, there's no such thing as perfect. If you don't care that much, well then you'll have a good time and you'll draw subconsciously, and that's the goal here. So first things first, I'm drawing through the model's breast to the bottom of the rib cage that's sticking out on the left side of the photo. Then her abs are really sucked in to the pelvis, and then I'm going around the leg and around the other leg. I'm drawing something on the interior through the breast, through the neck. I'm drawing the rib cage right now. That's the other side of the rib cage. And that rolls in, and now we have the oblique and the hip and the side of the butt hip thing. Okay, so that's pretty tall. So this would be the bottom of the model's hip. And now I'm going to draw both legs together. So this quad bows out, bows down, knee. It's not that long, actually. Now there's perspective. And let me get truffles. My wife is going away on a business trip, so the dogs panic, and they have to be near a human being, so they're right near me. 1 second. Let me just switch cameras so Truffles could say hello. Let's get some of Truffles' noise in the microphone. Truffs, you gonna draw with us, Truffs? No? Why don't you say something into the microphone? You got nothing to say today? No? You want to wave to everybody on YouTube? Okay, let me put Truffles on her chair. I'll be right back. Truffs is pretty old, so yeah, she's definitely got a lot of arthritis because she was a lunatic when she was younger, jumping off of the deck and doing stuff like that. So she's feeling it now in her old age. I feel the same thing. Okay, so now we've got a little perspective with the knees, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this hip, comes down, and then it goes up like that. And then we've got this gestural lower leg, ankle. Foot is a little weird looking, so we're just going to suggest it. And now we're going to overlap. Muscius muskrat. Hi, Laura. Oh, yeah. Terry. Yeah, Truffs can be our model. That's right, for the animal drawing class. Okay. So now I'm just going to draw this model's other knee, and then this would be that knee right there. So, okay, let's just talk about how we started this. Hey, Matt, thanks for doing this live. I've been following your sketchbook tour. Thank you so much. How does one teach themselves how to draw, how to consistently to draw? So it it's not about teaching yourself how to do that. It's about um, drawing the subject matter that you enjoy to draw. Thus, you will not have to be disciplined to sit down and draw. You will just sit down and draw because you enjoy it. That's the key. Okay, so now let's work on the top of this model's body. So this is the scapula lat situation kind of kicking out. I'm glancing at this negative space right over here, and I'm going to come up with this arm. Now, the key to this, I'll draw the breast. I don't know if I like that. This needs to come down lower. Breast is here. Around breast and connection. Is that on the screen? This arm is long. Wow. Connection and gesture. So let me lower the paper so you can see the whole pose. And I'll talk about what I've done so far so you can kind of get a vibe of what I'm trying to think about as I draw. 1 second. Okay. So what do we do? What do we do so far? I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect. So what we did was we drew some angles, the rib cage and the hips, which is in essence the torso. Then we drew like the legs together with perspective. And then we drew the arms together. We did not draw one arm and then the other side of the arm and then the fingers and then the hair and then the eyelashes. We got this overall big shape. So to me, that's the pose. That's the pose. Are my proportions correct? No, they are not. So now, it's depending on how much time you have to actually draw. The next step would be to pick an area that you like or that you understand and just kind of work on that area and build out from there. Again, I've been a teacher for, oh God, since 1997. So how many years is that? 1997. It's 25 and 28 years. Okay. 28 years. I'm getting old. So there's there's no absolutes. There's what you like at that time, and you change because you're learning different things. So what you liked 10 years ago is different than what you liked 5 years ago, which is different than what you like now in terms of how to draw. Because if you don't evolve and you stay the same and you're doing the same techniques that you did 10 years ago, there's a problem there. So, what I like to do is I like to combine all of these different techniques. So to use the analogy of teachers, like if you have one teacher teaching you one thing and another teacher teaching you another thing, and these two teachers contradict each other and it confuses you, don't be confused. Use both of the teacher's techniques and combine them and make it your own. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cling on to this area. So draw the breast. And I like the rib cage. I kind of like the way that looks, and I understand this coming in because the model's tucking in their stomach a little bit, like inhaling. And then I see the pelvis is over here, and then there's part of the side of the hip, and then this part of the leg comes down. So what I just did there was I just fleshed out that side of the torso. So now what I need to do is I need to do something inside of the torso. I don't want to just live on the edge. That's no good. So, and there's not a lot of information in these photos. They're very smooth. Like they're not gritty photos of the model where you see every inch of detail with every crevice of anatomy. These are smooth photos, almost to a fault. So I'm going to go around lower abs. I love to do that. It makes volume. I'm going to put in the navel. I'm going to put some tone down over here for the bottom of the pelvis. I'm also going to indicate where the bottom of the rib cage is. It's kind of there, perhaps here. So I'm going to do that. And I could also now sternum, and this is called the costal margin. So it's the edge of your rib cage that's full. It made covered with cartilage, so your rib cage can breathe and move, and be flexible. So you can breathe. Actually, is what I was trying to say there. So yeah, a couple of ribs, and so now I can kind of kick this out and make her upper torso a little bit wider. Cuphead lady now. Yes, absolutely. Batman, are you playing with me? How does one find techniques and how does one learn techniques? You find techniques by watching these YouTube videos and you learn them by following the teacher. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to cruise around and I'm going to cruise around and I'm going to come on down. And now back to this model's hip. Thank you, Muscius Muskrat. And so now I'm going to wrap around the hip. Okay, those proportions are a little bit better there. And now I'm going to kick this out and kick this out. All right, back to the center. So I'm going to, which breast is higher than the other? They're kind of level, but you don't want to draw them level. You want to ellipse around the breast. And this is kind of tall. Collarbone, shoulder, bicep. Luis, thank you for joining us today. Grab a pencil and draw along, and just practice. That's all this is today. Is it's practice. So now I'm gonna come over here, and I've been drawing great in class. I'm really happy with my in-class performance as of late. My drawings are pretty. I'm using a cheaper paper with colored pencils, like the colored Colorays, and I love it. Yeah, absolutely. I have to film some new sketchbooks. So now let's get this model's head in. So, okay, breast, letter C for the front of the face. Where's that chin? Where's that chin? Collarbone. Ah, that head goes above. So the chin's pretty high up. How far away is the chin from the center of the breast? Face goes up. Hair shape, bun. How far away is the bun from the bicep? Um, back of the model's hair. Just do something like that. And she's got pretty thick neck. She's really in shape. Shape of hair. Let's get the ear and let's just get this wispiness of the hair. This could come back a little bit further. I'm not saying it's perfect. What needs to happen is I need to come down from the chin, what's right below the chin. Okay, now I could come back and play with some angles, some micro angles. So it's forehead, eye, lash, bottom of the nose, suggestion of the lip. I could bring this arm back to the right. Yeah. Cool. And I could just use that arm as like a tone to frame out the face. Now, do I really need to erase this? No, but I'm going to do it anyways. Okay. And what else can I do here? So we've got little finger, hand, ulna bone, thin wrist, forearm to the elbow, and I'm going to kick this out. Okay. And just, I'm silhouetting this. It's fast. So that's that pose, okay? Is it perfect? Not even close. But I'm just going over diverse techniques that like I'm thinking about when I draw. Okay. Now for the knees and for the legs, let's go over this a little bit. So this has got to be round. Play around with that edge. Put a little tone over here. Curve around. Okay, so I'm just going to call this pose done. It was a short pose. I like this one much better than that one. This one would be very good to do a long drawing of. Now, if I wanted to, I could do that. I could do more with the hair. There's so much to play around with this particular pose, and to push it a little bit more, I can go darker here, do some wraparound lines. There's so much to do, but that's done. Maybe the legs could be a touch longer. I'd rather have the legs longer any day of the week than shorter, no doubt. So things that you should be doing when you're drawing. What's below the chin? What's below the chin? I'm holding my pencil up to my photo on my iPad. It's to the chin should be over to the left more, which is what I figured, or the navel. The navel's placed in a good spot, but the central line needs to be there. And whoa, what's right below the bun? Oh, the bun is at the edge of the hip. How did I do? I'll take that all day long. All day long. Good job. And cool. All right. So we've got 2 down. This is disgusting. That was the nature of that pose. Like, you know, sometimes you've got to just go easy on yourself. And, you know, the first pose that we drew was an extremely flat pose. Dead on center, which doesn't give you really much to draw in terms of gesture, movement, and all that. It's a little stiffer. This is more of a 3/4 view. For me personally, I like drawing all poses, but 3/4 are usually the best, in my opinion. And so this is just such much more of a dynamic pose. And yeah, all day long. I'd rather draw a 3/4 view for these short poses because they're more dynamic. All right. All right. Any questions? I'm going to move this disaster. And let's do another one. It's just figure drawing practice day. That's all. Nothing more and nothing less. I kind of want to do one also out of my imagination. That'd be really cool. I've been enjoying doing that lately. Okay. Let's get a new piece of paper taped down. Tuesdays are always so busy. I have my Zoom class at 2 o'clock, and that's going to be a fun class. That's going to be a fun class. Okay, different pencil. And what am I going to use? Well, let's pick the pose first. Let's pick the pose. Do I want to do that pose for the long one, or do I want to do this one for the longer one? They're both really good. I think I'm going to do the front view for the longer one. So let's do this one next. Oh, I'm torn. Let's do the back view for the longer one. Let's do the back view for the longer one, and let's do this one next. Okay. Hold on now. I'm looking for my mechanical. That's the 0.7. I just had it. 1 second. I don't know where I put stuff. All right, you know what? Screw the mechanical. I'm using this blue Cola Ace. Okay. And I need to zoom in. Too far away. And where's the top of my piece of paper? Bottom. Cool. Oh, I zoomed in way too much. 1 second. Questions? Okay, so this pose. This pose. Again, I'm starting here because I'm going to start at the side of the... oh, this pencil's just so much better. My God. I'll zoom in, and then I'll zoom out. Okay. These are very tall poses. So, side of the rib cage. Oh my God, this pencil's so much better. Gee whiz. Okay. Side of the hips. I'm going to just focus in on the torso first. Side of the hip. And let's just get some internal landmarks. This needs to be tilted more. An internal landmark is the breast. And can you show the line coming down from the collarbone? You mean the vertical line, the measure line. Okay. I will as I progress. Now, the breast Yusra wrap around. So the way that you get the hand loose is by this. Circles. Circles. So just circles. That's how I do it. Okay. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to go around the rib cage and place the breasts, and they're tilted. And rib cage kicks out on this model a lot. I'm going around the rib cage with a connector, connecting the rib cage. Agreed. I don't use Conte crayons, but I just bought 2 packs of Crayola crayons for my students to draw with on newsprint with the model, and it's phenomenal. Um, okay, I'm sticking with the interior. I'm trying to focus a little bit more on the. Yep, agreed. Um, just trying to focus in a little bit more on the torso on this drawing. So navel. Early on, I'm doing some tone. Early on, I'm doing some tone. And early on, I'm pressing down a little bit harder and I'm trying to make this edge look somewhat complicated. Yeah. And curve around, curve around. These are the abs. And I'm going around this away. Rib cage. Let's get the center of this breast. It's higher than the other one. And then, yep. Okay, so let's focus in on this model's hip. And now I'm going to get the inside of this model's leg. But first, I'm getting this. It's actually a line from her pants. So I've photographed models where they come in with a very tight, like say yoga pants or something like that, and the elastic waistband leaves an imprint on the model's skin. And that's actually what is happening on this pose. You can see the marks from the elastic waistband right there. That should be a little bit lower. Yep. And then this leg. And this is a little bit too thick. Okay, and let's just get that hamstring curving. All right, so that's kind of my first go through with this pose. So this would be privates. How's this eraser? It's not bad. It's not good either. Um, so this is a very, very conservative way to draw the figure where you focus in. Yeah, I'm not going to use that eraser again. Where you focus in on the torso. And it's a little bit more forgiving, meaning these shapes are a little bit easier to draw because they're just big shapes. Yeah, totally. So I'm fighting it today. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I'm fighting it, but I am fighting it. Last week, could draw anything. I was really on last week, but yeah, that was last week. Can't think and go backwards. Okay, so I'm going to do like a little bit of tone here. I'm going to wrap around with some form lines, Leah, and I'm going to wrap with some long form lines going down the model's leg like that. Okay. And I'm going to do some form lines that go down the front of the pelvis and then also go around. Angelia, that's your missing ingredient in your artwork are these faint form lines. I get it, easier said than done, right? So let's really kick this out. I understand most structures, but would you show us the hidden structures that connect the rib cage and the pelvis? Well, that's the spine. Hold on. I need to get. I'll just use this as a scrap piece of paper. Man, these drawings are fighting me today. My God. Okay, so that's no good. I need to put this here and another piece of tape. Timeout. So basically, on this pose, it's the rib cage, and then underneath the rib cage is the model's pelvis. Okay, so we're looking up at, so the rib cage is really tilted back like that. And 1 second. This, oh boy. Uh, there's a lot of distance in this pose between the rib cage and the pelvis. So ultimately, what is connecting the rib cage and the pelvis is the spine. And so that you would not see through all of this stuff. Okay. But this would be the pubic bone, that would be your inguinal ligament, that would be your iliac crest of the pelvis. Okay, cool. ACIS anterior, and yes. Okay. So now, if this is your what is called costal margin, I'm going to lose everybody with these anatomical landmarks. Sorry. If that's your costal margin, which is pretty much the bottom of your rib cage, and the rib cage is tilted like that, your abs come down here and they connect from the bottom of the rib cage to the pubic bone. This would be the navel. And yes, so this would be your 8-pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, that should be a little bit higher, but that's good enough for this tutorial. That would be your central line. And also, what is holding this together are these obliques, this oblique's being stretched out. So your spine connects them, your abs connect them, your obliques connect the pelvis and the torso, the rib cage. Hope that helped. Wow. Okay. Oh, God. Struggling today here. Struggling. I guess that's why we practice, right? Okay. Just going over this. And let's get this curved around. Let's redraw the breast. Curving around. And, okay. So now I think I need to just get the, whatchamacallit, the collarbones. So I'm looking at the center of the breast to the collarbone area. I'm looking at that height. It's not that long. That arm kind of going up. I need to zoom out a touch so you can see what the heck I'm doing. And I don't know. So I need to lift up the piece of paper because I want to work on the legs a little bit and just show you how I would get them in quickly. So in essence here, I've got the front of the leg, the back of the lower leg, and the foot. Okay. Now, this is our line of action. Oh my God, this drawing's off. Gee whiz. Where are those toes? Just suggest where those toes are. They're to the left of the hip. maybe not that much to the left of the hip. And then where is these toes? And if I hold my pencil, wow, from the bottom of the rib cage, I have that way too far over. I'm being too aggressive with this tilt. Now, in, say, the animation department at the School of Visual Arts, the aggressive tilt would be good because it would create more motion in the pose, and it would make the pose less stiff. For me right now, I don't care about that. I care about getting my proportions somewhat correct. And, I know I'm off today big time because I'm outlining. And when I outline, that means I'm not drawing well. It means I'm just like a little bit off with my confidence. And so on these types of days where you struggle, these are the days, the best days to draw. I'm just going to silhouette this leg because you just fight through it. And it's helpful. And it's what will get you through and not like have you give up and be like, oh, I suck. Why am I doing this? I've been drawing all these years and this looks like shit. And like, my God, why is this happening to me? I practice all the time. And, who's to say when you wake up that morning how you're going to draw? Who's to say that? Like, right? So you can have good days and you can have bad days, but, the goal is to just draw and don't get too caught up in the good days and the bad days thing. Because if you keep drawing subconsciously, everything starts to fall into place. So now if I want to, I'm not going to draw that whole arm. It's going way too high. I'll have to zoom out way too much. That's the only thing I don't like about this pose. It's a gorgeous pose, gorgeous model, but it's so tall. It's not good for video on YouTube because I have to zoom out. So I'm just, okay. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It is what it is. So I'm going to call that our second pose. Cool? So Yusra asked me about the center line. So Yusra, this would be a collarbone. This would be a collarbone. This is what I would call the center of the pit of the neck. It's a pit because where these two muscles come down, you can see them on this model's body, the SCM, sternomastoid. I say, what's right below that? And what is right below that? It's to the left of the model's heel. So I'm somewhat happy with that. So perhaps the heel would be here. Totally. Okay. It's a shame. I wanted to do a good job on that one, but we're just going to call that a teaching drawing. That's how I'm going to live with it. So now what is helpful for everybody, I'm just going to screw the drawing up, is for practice, what is helpful is to go around the drawing, go around the drawing, go around. Now, go around this way. Now, change and go around this way. And change and go around this way. And change and go around this way. Okay, these are just elliptical lines that help you. So, Yusra, in this pose, it doesn't need to touch the feet. Both feet, Yusra, are bearing the weight of the pose. So, like, if I have like a rib cage and a pelvis and two legs, and here's the feet, um, and here's the head, shoulders, hips, arms. Here's the center of the neck. It's coming down centered. It's not touching the feet, but both feet are bearing the weight of the pose. If now I'm drawing somebody running and that foot is on the ground and this foot is off the ground, and here's the pit of the neck, all of the weight is on that foot. Does that make sense to you? So it depends on which foot is bearing all of the weight of the pose, should be under the head, unless it's a pure action pose. I just drew this pose. It's kind of action, but I drew it where the pit of the neck, the head is over that foot. This one, this foot and this foot are bearing the weight. So they're balancing the body. Does that make sense? Okay. Um, Okie dokie. Let's do another one. And let's try this one, which is very similar. Um, let's try it. Let's try it. I would have liked to have drawn this one over and done a little bit of a better job on that, but it is what it is. Okay. Let me get another sheet of paper. Awesome. And, okay. Time out. Time out. Now, can you indulge me for a second? I want to get up off of this chair. I just need to step out for a moment, and I will be back in less than 60 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and let's do the next one. And good. Okay. There we go. So let's see. I'm going to start zoomed in. Let's see. Do we still have people here? Yes. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and you're not subscribed and you like this content, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. It's just one click. It's easy. And if you really want to go the extra mile and know when I do live streams, I do live streams on Mondays or Tuesdays. It depends on what else is going on in my life. Like I'm only home 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday. So those are the days that I stream. The other 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm at the college teaching. So yeah, but it's nice when you know ahead of time when I'm going to be here. So let me see if I can't do a drawing that I actually like. Let's try. So I'm starting again with our models. Ribcage back. Okay, my God, that is such a small line on this screen. Let me let me zoom in a little. Sorry. Yes, better. Sorry about that. And so the problem that happens when I'm not drawing as well as I would like to draw is that, well, I haven't drawn really anything since Friday, and it's Tuesday. I did draw critiques yesterday, but that's drawing over stuff. Um, and I'm not looking enough. Like I like half of drawing is looking. I'm not looking. I'm just guessing what I see. And so my vision is not there today. So I could accept that, but I choose not to accept that. So what I need to do is I need to look harder. I need to look harder at the photo reference. And half of drawing is looking, and the other half is literally drawing. And so if I'm not happy with my results in terms of likeness, proportions, all that kind of stuff, the problem is with me. I'm not looking hard enough at the model, and I'm just kind of flubbing it, right? Um, Maybe mentally I'm not here. That could be something. I'm a little distracted with something else I need to do. I'm probably distracted because I have so much on my plate today to do. And that's a me thing. But that does like affect your drawing. No doubt. It will affect your drawing like in a very big way. Um, okay, so I need to put something down on the screen because my camera's going in and out of focus. And I need to also zoom in more. Okie dokie. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more to the model. Okay. So I'm going to really pay a little closer attention here. So this is a sacrospinalis muscle, a big tower that is adjacent to the spine. And then this glute starts here at that sacrum, and then the glute sticks out a little bit, and then it comes in. This would be the center of the glutes. Okay. And this, I need to get anatomical landmarks in. This is the little dimple near the sacrum and that triangular bone at the bottom of your spine. Form lines around the butt. So maybe what I need to do is I just need to slow down. And cool. And now I've got this hip, and the hip kicks out gluteus medius, and then it kicks out again, and then it tapers into the ITB band quad area. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on this other side so I get the width of the legs together. I don't want to overdo. So the hip kicks out a little bit, zooms in, and now these legs feel a little wide to me. They are wider than the butt. So I just need to look more. Look more, Matt. Look at the model. Stop guessing about what you're looking at. Okay, so now I'm looking, and this leg comes inward, and then we have an S curve. And now let's get this leg, and there's a tiny little negative space. Okie dokie. And there's not a lot of shadow shape on here at all. So now, okay, if that's the center of the glutes, where's that little crease for the spine? Here, it angles. I could widen this a touch. Rib cage. And now this side of the model's body. And rib cage sticks out. How far above the dimple of the sacrum does that rib cage start to kick out? It's not that far up. And now breast kicks out. I'm very outliney right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick with this area, try to build up a little bit of my drawing confidence. So curve around, curve around. And back to the spine. Real indent, real crease. And these are form lines that show that muscle. So if this is the center of your spine, then there's two muscles on either side of the spine that are very much like cylinders, and they keep you erect, standing straight up and down, erect or spiny. And I also use the phrase sacrospinalis. Okay, so we got a lot going on over there. I'm not in love with it, but let's keep going. It's all good. So maybe this is our model's lat muscle that's coming down, and it's really curving around over there. I got to be careful with those horizontal curves. This leg angles because it's kicking back, and we need to make sure that we get thinner at the knee. Okay, so what do I want to do next here? What do I want to do next? So I think I want to add a little bit of shading. Yusra, I'm a member of DTO, and thank you, Yusra. I really do appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you later, and we're going to do some really a good exercise with image making different than figure drawing. We're going to talk about value structure, and we're going to do a really fun exercise that I'm starting to oh, I see. That's a little bit lower. I'm starting to integrate this exercise with my younger students. Where you actually match values in a scene. And it's a ton of fun. Yeah, okay. And we'll do it with pencil, and we'll do it with digital. And if you don't have digital, you can use a pencil. So this is a very user-friendly way to draw. It's just I'm just struggling today, and I don't really care. This is just practice. But yeah, this is a very user-friendly way to draw if you are fighting the man, so to speak. Where I'm just focused in on those upper legs and the torso. And let's shade this side. Oh boy, what a day here. My God. Okay. So now I'll zoom out. Okay. A little bit more. And I'm going to raise this. So we need to get the legs. I'll show you how I go about doing that. So for me, another reason why I'm not drawing good today, in my opinion, is because I'm not using the loose techniques that I teach, like the opposite Cs. So if I was to do this a little bit more gesturally, it would be helpful. So you see what I'm doing there? I'm putting those two marks to try to figure out where the bottoms of the feet are. So it would just be this knee, opposite letter C, the calf muscle, letter C. Then the heel is to the left of that hip. Come on down, perspective with the foot touching the modeling stand. The big toe is going in perspective. The bottom of the foot would be shaded like that. This leg is extremely distorted from the photography. So I'm going to try to just draw it heel, toes, ball of the foot touching the model and stand. Silhouette. And I don't want to press down hard with my pencil over here because I do not want to draw attention to that very awkward foot. It would take me a very long time to flesh that out, and I don't want to turn this into an ugly foot drawing, but I'm just suggesting. And then over here, I can do this opposite gestural, opposite C thing for that foot. So that's kind of how I would flesh those two out. And then if I drop this down a little bit, and what about up top? So I think what I'm going to do is zoom in. That's just too far away. And just kind of drop my paper. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. So shoulders are tilted. And this arm, let's get that arm going up. Let's get that arm going up with a gesture line. And I'm going to curve around the trapezius, a little bit over there, deltoid. Wow, it is so windy where I live today. It's crazy. It's like a windy fall day. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get, that would be a beautiful portrait. That's a cool portrait right there. So now where is the tip of the nose in relationship to the breast? It's over to the left. So I would just get the opposite letter C for the front of the face. The bun of the hair goes to the left of the arm. How far away is the bun to the crease of the trapezius? So I'll look at that. I'll just get shape of hair. And the hair angles down like that. Ear shape. Yeah, you know it's windy when my windows are creaking. Forehead. Tip of the nose. I'm not going to draw that arm going up. It's just way too high for my video. I'll have to zoom out way too much. It's not worth it. Neck into trapezius. And perhaps, where is this hair? It's about here. Cool. And maybe I can bring this arm into the right a touch. Love it. Nose is a little lower. Cool. Little playful there with the face. So if I wanted to now, I could erase this, and so it doesn't look like the shoulder is like a linebacker's shoulder, and just kind of tweak that. Awesome. Okay, so that is how I would go about sketching out this pose. Silhouette that arm. It's easier to draw it that way. Maybe that arm's a little bit too tall. Yep. Shorten it a little bit. Add a little bit of shading over here. I'm being a little playful today with all of this. And yeah. That's that pose. Whoops. Famous last words. Well, I don't hate it, right? It's okay. It's a good warm up day today. It's a really good warm up day. It's a good practice day. Um, I'm just going to close this live stream out by doing a drawing out of my imagination and just walk you through some techniques on how to do a pose out of your imagination. Does anybody have any questions about what we've done so far today on the live stream? So basically, I'm just talking myself through these drawings, trying to teach you what I'm thinking about. Um, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days with your drawings, and you just need to accept that. And this is like everything else. You know, you need to practice consistently, and you can't beat your. So here's our other one. You should really do these ellipses around the body for practice. We talked about weight, and this was our other page. So we're struggling today. We're struggling. It is what it is. You just got to fight your way through it, and don't beat yourself up when you're not drawing as you would like to draw. Okay. I'm just going to do this drawing right next to this one, perhaps. I mean, if I spent an hour on this pose, I could really make it look beautiful. But yeah, we're not going to do that today on this live stream. This is not about long drawings. It's about short ones, just practicing. Laura, I took your advice on drawing larger, and it's so much more fun and lets me be bolder. Thank you. Yeah, so listen, in the grand scheme of things, Laura, this is tiny for me. So how big is this? Oh my God, that is 8. It's 7 3/4 tall. So just to kind of give you an idea of what I do in the classroom when I'm drawing from life with the model, I'm drawing double that size. So the smallest I'm drawing in the classroom is 14 inches tall, because you are drawing with your arm and not your fingers. And in the grand scheme of things, a 7 3/4 inch, let's just say 8 inches for simplicity, an 8-inch drawing is very, very small. I'm not saying never, but it's small. I mean, so our face is 3/4 of an inch tall. So I'm not going to do a drawing. I've got them all over my wall in front of me here. But it's not to my benefit to try to do a drawing where I have to squeeze in facial features in an area that's the size of like my fingertip, 3/4 of an inch tall. That's insane. So it's like drawing double just gives you so much more freedom, and you're looser that way all day long. Hi, Matt. Not a question, but thank you for showing us your steps to figure drawing. You got it, Hammy. Like, this is just some stuff that I think about. Like, what I do is I have each class, I isolate techniques, and that day we focus on those techniques. Now, I'm just trying to think of a pose here. So I'm just going to draw, and I'm going to start with the model's breast, and then I'm going to have the other breast higher. Okay, and breast, other breast lower. So we're immediately looking up. Thank you, Carmela. I appreciate that. So center of the breast, I represent that as like a circle, and then another circle within a circle. And then I'll come over here and do the other side of the torso, like the rib cage. And so this could be a rib. The only one that turned out well for me was the sitting one. Yeah, I agree. That was really fun. So now, look, I'm doing the rib cage. bottom of the rib cage. This would be the other side of that rib cage, and then I'm going to the navel lower ab area. Okay, cool. I feel like I'm warmed up now. We're into the live stream a freaking hour and a half. That's pathetic. Okay, that's so pathetic. Let me just make this like a little bit bigger here. I'll move me over here. I honestly, like, I've been pleased with the way that I've been drawing in class. Like, honestly, I'm going to show you that drawing pad when I bring it home. Yeah, I usually bring it home at the end of the semester. Okay. What am I doing? We're working on this pose. Okay. So this would be the navel area. So perhaps that rolls in. Oof. And rib cage. And then I'm going to kick out the model's hips. I'm going over my line, making it thicker. Now, let's see. This would be the pelvis. One side of the model's pelvis, it would wrap around like that. This is kind of going down into the privates, and this is where that quad would start. Yes, cool. And now the other side of the model's body, maybe I'll kick out this leg. Totally. Okay. So let's see. That's how I would start to draw out of my imagination. Okay. Um, so now I could start all over again and go back up top. So I'll come over here to the model's breast and I'll flesh this out, curve in, a little bit of tone, some form line tone. This would be the rib cage, one side of that costal margin. And the other breast, I would kind of do the same thing. And I would just shade it and make it a silhouette. Timeout. Okay. Just want to raise this up. Now, I'm not looking at anything. Like when I drew the other poses, if you watch my body, or my eyes, I should say, and you see me looking at the reference, right? My reference is right in front of me right there. So I have it. I'll show you my iPad. And yeah, there she is. And my iPad's like a little smudgy. Lots of fingerprints. Ooh, what did I just do there? Okay, almost there. There we go. Good, good, good. Okay. And so now if you watch me draw here on YouTube, my eyes are just looking down at the paper because I'm not looking at reference. I'm thinking as I draw, and I'm trying to figure out the pose. Okay, so I can curve around the navel. I want this to come out. Gluteus medius would come out. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so now I'm just going to add a couple of form lines right there that shows a muscle separation. Let's see, am I losing people? How many people we got watching here? 27. Okay. I appreciate you joining me here. It'd be a rib there. Two serratus. I'm going over now for some line diversity. some form lines over there. I'm going over that. And okay, so I could put some tone there because it's turning under, right? I could put some tone here because it's turning underneath. Like all we're really doing right there is drawing an oval, right? The bottom of the rib cage. Just sharpening. And over here, I could also draw the bottom of the oval. My pencil's like a little bit too sharp now. Okay, that's going off of the screen. So now, okay, so I need to figure out about where I want this shoulder and the arm. So perhaps this would be the other shoulder. Perhaps that would be the clavicle deltoid, and this arm would come down. So I'm blocking it, so let me move me here. Cool. And so now I would start to flesh out this shoulder. Um, Gonna go over that, build up my line thickness. Questions? Other collarbone. So this is sort of how I would. It's massive benefit starting with the torso. It's just easier. Um, so torso, navel, lower abs, breast, legs. So I'm telling you, I've found it so much easier to start with. I have entire courses on starting with the torso. Um, it's not the only way to draw, but it's a great way to draw, especially when you're learning how to draw the figure. Okay, so just um, starting with that torso. Curve around, curve around, curve around. Yeah, and let me just get rid of that navel. Um, yeah, so we started with the torso here, and it would take a little while for me to flesh this out. I've moved the navel now 3 times. Um, but yeah, I'm telling you, it's just the students in my figure drawing class at the end of the semester, I ask them what did they like the most, and they always say the torso. Yeah. So do you see how quickly I'm struggling today? So it is not going smooth for me, but you see how I just kind of got that figure down fairly quickly um, by starting with the torso. Yeah. So I'm starting to get a little bit more warmed up now. And torso. I'm thinking of a pose. Torso. Thinking of a pose. Let me just draw it. Is that on the monitor? No, I'm off of the monitor. Okay, maybe this is going to be the last one because um, I think we're going to call this live stream done. Now, listen, I've been drawing and I've been having a good time, even though I'm fighting it today. Um, but that's okay. It's not always going to go smooth. Um, if you're interested in having me look at your artwork, there's a link in the description of this video for drawingtutorialsonline.com. If you're interested, you can check out a membership. You can cancel your membership at any time, no questions asked. But the benefit of membership is that you can sign up and you can upload a drawing a week with photo reference to the website's gallery, and I could critique your artwork and say, hey, this doesn't look right. You should practice this. You should practice that. And that will save you years of trying to figure out why your drawings are not working. And totally worth it. But I'll leave that for you to decide. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it's one thing to watch. It's another thing to have your work assessed, and that's different than watching somebody draw. Completely different. Okay. I think that is it for today's live stream. Um, I am finally getting warmed up after almost 2 hours of drawing. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, Carmela, the drawing that you did with the color was amazing. Amazing. That was awesome. I hope you watch the critique and I hope that you go like a little bit darker on the right side of your drawing. I think that'd be amazing. Okay. Let me switch. Awesome. All right. So I hope you had fun drawing along with me today. Sometimes as a teacher, I have good days and bad days. And today, I'm not going to call it a bad day. I'm just going to call it an okay day. I think my best drawing was, believe it or not, the one that I did out of my imagination. That is the smoothest, and I like it the best. The other ones were warm ups for that. And cool. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to give everyone a chance to say goodbye because there is like a little bit of a delay. And Batman, thank you for watching. Carmela, I will see you in a couple of hours. I need to go get a haircut in between now and then. Gingery, thank you. Batman, thank you. Hammy, thank you. Laura, thank you for watching. Yep. Awesome, Carmela. Awesome. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Absolutely. And I'll probably go live again next week on Tuesday, not Monday. I seem to be liking Tuesdays better. Radka, thank you so much. I have been here for the first time live and would go for a subscription. Thank you for sharing. Even struggling makes it part of the process. Absolutely. Thank you, HC. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. And yeah, you gotta. you have to make big progress, you need to make big mistakes. If you don't ever make any mistakes, how are you going to learn? You've got to do some drawings that are painful, and you look at them and you're like, oh my god, I'm not happy. You just got to fight through it and you learn. And so yeah, it's that. It's putting in the pencil mileage. Absolutely. Not bad. An hour and 47 minutes. Not bad. All right. I'm going to sign off, people. I know there's a delay, but thank you for watching, okay? Leave a comment, and even after the video is done, if you liked the stream or if you have any suggestions for a stream, the animals suggestion was pretty good. That would be a good one to do. Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Carmela. I uh a skeleton drawing. I could probably do a skeleton drawing out of my imagination. I don't know how interesting that would be, but maybe we can do partial skeleton. Yes. Bye, Carmela. See you later. Go have lunch. I gotta have lunch too. I like the idea of a skeleton drawing. In my class, I teach anatomy a lot, and I love anatomy. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you all next week. Appreciate you. Have a great week.